It's 1867, and Thomas Spence just moved to Portage la Prairie and built himself a grocery store. But something wasn't right. He wasn't being taxed. So he went and sent a letter to Queen Victoria herself asking, "Hey, can I be a country?" And to this day, she hasn't responded. So then he went to the people living in Portage and asked them, "You guys want to get taxed? Will you defend us from invaders?" "Sure."
No!
But one guy didn't like that idea and started spreading rumors. "They're using our taxpayer dollars on whiskey." This person was McPherson, the shoemaker, and people believed him. So Spence sent his entire police force, 2 police officers called Hudson and Anderson, to hunt this liar down. "This is dangerous work. I'm cold. It's the middle of the winter. Take some of our stock of whiskey." McPherson, without even knowing it, revealed the biggest scandal in this country's history. Then again, he was the only one. Hudson and Anderson couldn't use horses, so they decided to hunt down McPherson on sleighs. Despite McPherson being enemy of the state, he was just relaxing in his house. But then, the police knocked on the door and McPherson was on the run from sleighs. After about 5 minutes, he ran into a snowbank and the police had to pull him out, ripping off half his pants in the process. But because they came in sleighs, he couldn't ride in the vehicle. They had to drag a man with hypothermia all the way back to the police station through the snow. But then, McPherson saw a man walking by called John McLean and got away from the officers yelling, "Save me!" And John McLean, no questions asked, stood between him and the law like a colossus. "Search of Colossus, and this is what I found, don't question it." Anderson explained that he was making up that the government used tax on whiskey and that they were arresting him for a libel. And McLean was just like, "Okay, I'll be at the trial." And the officers dragged his body back to the police station, and he stayed there for only about an hour because his trial went underway the same day. McLean went to the courthouse, but since this country didn't have a courthouse, it was held at Officer Hudson's house. He arrived with 3 miners, wrong one, there, alongside McPherson. And Hudson arrived with his brother, Anderson, and Spence at about 8 o'clock, and it was pitch black outside. The trial went underway normally for about 5 minutes when McLean realized that Spence was the accuser and the judge. "Come out of that, you witness spotcher! You can't act as judge and accuse both!" He suddenly turned Scottish. After yelling whatever the hell he just yelled, McLean and the miners started fighting Spence and his team, except for McPherson, who presumably was just frozen in the corner after being dragged in the snow for hours. About 30 seconds after starting the fight, they knocked out the only lantern in the entire house and started fighting in the dark, so the miners pulled out their revolvers and fired at the ceiling. "For God's sake, man, don't shoot! I have a wife and family!" In the most pathetic way, Spence agreed to shut down his country. "Now go outside."